So welcome to our builder call. I'm glad to have you on here. My name is Debbie Gordon, and good to have you all on here, Dana and Ben and Jade. First of all, let's start with what's going well in your businesses, what needs to be going better, and share some highlights so we can celebrate together. And let's talk about some really useful things today.
I'll go first. I had a class in Buffalo Wednesday night with Sue, and she did have, she thought a couple new people, but the one actually did have an account, but hadn't really been doing anything with what she had. So we were able to give her some support. And then the other girl, she is, works at the nursing home in Buffalo. So she's been working on trying to get me up there for an in-service. So I'm excited for that and with the staff. And then last night we did a muscle response testing class in Gillette, and Alicia taught it. So we did Facebook Live into our group, our team group, and we did all the science behind it. And then we stopped the video and we did all the practicing, but it was fun.
Very good. I want to go back and watch that video. That's awesome, Dana. And so you're approved for a Silver Club.
Yeah, for Diamond Club.
Yep, for Diamond Club. Thank you for Diamond Club. Yeah. So that's exciting. And so have you started working on your plans for that?
So I have my calendar laid out for, well, this month just as prep, and then I have August laid out. So I don't have stuff booked yet, but it's laid out. And then working for, so.
Very good. Okay. I'm making myself a note to connect with okay, very good. So I reached out to my Laramie people, and I'll follow up with them again today. And then I've got to make a phone call with the physician that's actually not doing very well. So this is a great opportunity to say, are you open to? So yeah. I do not say. What's that?
Extra cilantro here.
Put it away in the fridge before you go. Okay. Ben and Jade, catch us up on what's going on in your neck of the woods.
Well, we just had a great call this morning with the ladies. It's a lot of fun to do the energy healing with the products. I think we've got just a few more and then we'll be done. So that really helps with the book, but it helps with when I send reports and explanations to people when they get a bioscan. So I'm almost caught up with the emails for the Australians. Yeah, for the people that I met in Australia. So, and I've got lots of good feedback. You know, people saying that they'll put in an order. Some people haven't ordered for a while. Yeah. So that's good. So I felt like I've had a bit of a break last month. So I'm back in it again. Met a bunch of people recently and going to do classes and meeting with them to enroll them and stuff. So back doing stuff.
Awesome. And Ben, what would you add to that?
We just finished a bunch of classes in this area. And we're just working on maybe how we're gonna go forward offering the new classes, but kind of in a middle area. So looking to maybe brainstorm other ways of getting in contact with people.
Awesome, very good. I hope to brainstorm today too. So it's been a good week. I was in North Carolina, you all know that. And I really struggled with reception of my phone struggled with Wi-Fi, struggled with connection online. And so I guess I could say I had a bit of a sabbatical from online, which is always good, but it got me out of the habit of looking online. So Jade, I didn't even know about your class this morning, and I would have been telling you.
That's okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting how habitual we are. Isn't that interesting? That just in a very short time we can get out of the habit. And so I don't even think I got on Facebook till last night, and I got on to do my live Facebook because I had forgotten all about it. So I got to get back in that habit of checking first thing in the morning. But so anyway, I had a great experience in North Carolina. Really, really enjoyed my time there. Enjoyed meeting the people. Enjoyed my surroundings. Put the word out. It was so strange for me not to see anybody that did doTERRA, not to see anybody that knew doTERRA, and so it felt like I was in a really great possibility area. I hope to go back. I launched SAM, but we did not have the turnout. And so that's one thing I want to talk about today. As we're launching new builders, how can we ensure that we have the turnout so it's worth our time, worth our effort, worth our travel, if that's involved, so that we really maximize our time when we leave our families. So that's kind of what I want to brainstorm about today. Also want to brainstorm about putting it out there when we're doing classes, putting out there our intention, making that really clear, but also making it apply to the emotions so they have value. We create value for them to join us, to get started, to partner with us. And so I want to brainstorm about that today. And so I want your thoughts on those two factors. So let's open it up here and do a little brainstorming session today. I'm really grateful for those of you that are on here because I know it'll be well worth our time together as we do this. So let's talk first about, Jade and Ben, you are very remarkable at putting out your intention. Would you go through that a little bit with us on what you say at the beginning of a class to put your intention out there to those that are attending so that you can appeal to the emotions and help them want to step forward and make a change?
Hey, Debbie, the easiest way to put your intention out there is just to say it. Hey, everybody, my intention for this class tonight is to educate you on how to use essential oils to live a healthier life. Just simply say it.
Is that about what you say, Ben?
Yeah, just state your intention. I think a lot of times we try to complicate things, but if we really try to simplify it and just, say, hey guys, this is my intention. At the end of this class, I want you all to know how you can use essential oils to help your life. Or at the end of this, like if you're sitting down in a one-on-one, can I maybe address your other questions as well?
Absolutely.
Like you said, you want to address how can we make sure that, we're going to have a good turnout and a builder's, going to be successful in everything. And the answer is there is no way that you can positively tell the future and create something like that. For sure, there's no 100% way to do it. There is some risk involved. And so this business all is about reducing the risks and increasing the return. And so there's a lot of things you can do. The share guide is chock full of you need a protocol. The share guide has it, go through, make sure they have all the names, ask them to send you their names, talk about how they invited people, how they start those conversations with people, because sometimes those relationships need to be warmed up. Maybe they don't have all those relationships built yet. Not everybody's in the same boat. Not everybody has a warm market that you can just tap into and enroll 10 people. Some people don't have a significant warm market at all. And you can maybe ask a lot of find out questions to, and ask them to send you their names and contacts and walk through them one by one, walk through the share guide, talk about exactly what the experience is, what your expectations are, what you need them to do, and ask to see the text. If they say 2 people confirmed, can you show me the text? It's a business, and let them know that you're running it as a business. Let's approach this professionally, and let's work on our approach from day one. And so there's a lot of things I think you can do to increase the amount of engagement. Nothing you can do to guarantee it, but you can, take that risk and off you go. So, and you would say that with your new builder. My intention is to help you enroll 15 people in your first month. Your first month is going to be August. These are the steps we're going to go through. This is what I expect from you. We're going to meet twice a week and prepare for that. I'm going to give you assignments. They're going to take a couple hours to do. Are you willing to do that? If this person is not a builder, they're a refer. They don't want to go through the work, teach the class or whatever. If they say that I've learned something lately, if they say that they are willing to teach the class, they're most likely a builder or moving in that direction. If they say they're not comfortable with it, they're not a builder. They're just a refer. They just want to be a builder, but they don't want to do the work. And so if you don't want to do the work, if you're not going to do the work, you're not a builder. But just if you state your intention in the beginning, I intend to help you, to give you all the tools, training, mindset, and skills to help launch your business. And this is what we're going to do. So I hope that answers the question. Maybe too many words.
No, you did a great job. So, and you're absolutely, go ahead, Jade.
No, go ahead. Finish off your sentence, Debbie.
Well, you're really right that we cannot foretell the future as much as we plan, as much as we engage. But I love your attention to details. That what the success is in the details. Really, truly, are they following through?
Yeah, I would add to it a little bit here. So the first one is how to promote events. Honestly, sometimes we have so many events that we spread ourselves too thin and we don't promote it well. When we have fewer events, we actually promote it pretty well. And when we do, think about that success. What did we do? If we kind of deconstruct it, we use the community, we leverage. So if we take the Australian trip recently, I had about 200 people turn out to all the events. I charged for each one of them. And I anchored myself in that fact that I'm valuable. And if people want to hear from me, then they have to pay. So in my head, sometimes especially with the local classes, I don't have that strong integrity towards myself. I'm thinking, yeah, whatever, it's okay. Yeah, come, no, don't worry. But yeah, when I was traveling, I thought to myself, no, I'm sacrificing. I have a lot of value. I keep reminding myself of that. It's like that self-talk, self-cheering. They better pay to come and hear me. And it's just a token of, and some of the classes, some of the things we had was $25. And that's the class that we had the most people. We had $15 is the what we charge for the other classes. So, when I had a lady say, well, I don't know, I don't want to pay $15, I just said to the upline when she mentioned that one of the girls want to come, but she doesn't want to come. She doesn't want to pay. And I said, well, then she hasn't committed to learning, and that's okay with me. And then she came back and, that lady paid. She came back to the lady and said, hey, it kind of shows a lack of commitment. And so anyways, it comes down to talking to the people that are local and saying, look, this is what I really want and expect. And then because I feel like I'm not shifting, I'm feeling anchored, and they're anchored. They know that that's how it is. If you want to come, you come. And then there's people that come and they didn't pay ahead. And what I did was I kind of put my kids, my two girls, you can ask anybody that's removed from you to say, hey, have you registered online? If you registered online, you get 5 extra tickets, raffle tickets. And, some people that are in line, they raise their hands, yeah, me. And then, people that didn't register, you say, would you mind registering? And it's $15, thank you. And they just pay. They just where it's just not, they feel bad if they don't pay. I taught a class in one location, and that evening, Jamie and I drove. It was to 2 a.m. to that next location. And the mother that attended that evening, she called her son up, and she had her son and his wife register online that evening to come to my class in the morning in that location, because she was so impressed and she wanted to make sure he got all the benefits. And I think if you kind of, stand your ground a little bit there, you get a good turnout. And then when they're like that kind of people, you feel more, I think, open and confident to speak, because you're not there to please them. They've already decided to be pleased, to be, you know what I mean? There's something about them. So I spoke more freely, more confidently, and I'm not trying to convince them that the oils are good, because they have invested and committed because they know it's good already. So it's like filtering people. So that's what Ben and I are going to try and do now. Every class we teach, even the local classes, we'll charge. We'll offer some value. So they'll come home with a sample. They'll come home with an oil blend. But yeah, sometimes it takes a lot of, knocking on the head to kind of wake up. We'll look at the classes that have been super successful. You've charged for them, and the classes you haven't, you haven't been great. So that's what we're going to do for promoting. So since I kind of made that decision, just immediately yesterday, met a lady, and that's exactly what she wanted. She wanted her salon to have classes, and I said, we'll charge. And she's like, absolutely, absolutely, thank you. And I thought, okay, I could have done that earlier, but live and learn. So that's that. Do you want to make comments, and then I'll talk about the intention thing?
Oh, you know what? It's so interesting, because we've given away so much for free all these years that it's not necessarily something that we think about. And yet you're absolutely right. Our time is valuable. In fact, somebody asked me recently, what do you charge for your classes? And when I commented, I don't usually charge, I thought I undersold myself,
Mm-hmm.
and gave myself away for free, when it's really not. And even, what I've realized in my birthing services, that I'm not charging enough. I'm selling myself short for the value that I create. And so I really like what you're doing here.
Yeah, I think we need to keep practicing, and then reminding each other that we need to charge. We've done a lot of research. We have a lot of education. We've invested in ourselves, so we need to charge. I mean, we have friends that do yoga. They charge $15 for their classes, and why not charge for these classes? Even if it's an intro, you filter people out. And I think the stricter I am with the avatar that I want to attract, the more those people come. And you're human, and you're scared sometimes that I'm being too picky, that I'm not going to have enough. But just yesterday, stepping out, finally, I'm thinking, okay, I'm almost done with these emails. I need to step out and start scheduling classes. I mean, just taking my daughter to a hairdresser. I got 3 people already, and they're good people. They're people that are already spiritual, already looking for the holistic lifestyle. And I thought, there you go. I'm allowed to be picky, So anyways, so I want to talk about intentions, right? Of course, you want to meet the audience, whoever it is. But in general, the people that I meet, I say these things. Because this is a teacher thing. If I'm teaching any lesson, I would tell them what, so what, and now what. Okay, so what is it that I'm doing? And so what? How does that apply to them? And then now what? How do they apply it to their lives? So guys, I'm here today to share with you my passion about essential oils, okay, to help you understand a little bit more of how it can help you in your lives. My intention is to have a community where people learn how to use the lost art of essential oils for healing. Okay, and so that's that. And I hope today you learn some skills to take home to your friends and family so that you can, help yourselves in a natural way. So something simple like that, they know it's what am I doing? It's not, I'm not here to sell you an oil. One time I said that to a class because I kept talking and then someone asked me a question and then they're like, oh, how much is this? How much is that? And I said, that's great. I'm going to, on that piece of paper, you have the cost, but am I here to sell you an oil? I asked her again because I already stated my intention. And this is an intro class and we had about 20 something people there. And then she looked at me and everyone else shook their heads, no. And I said, what am I here for, guys? And then they all repeated what I said at the beginning. I said, learning a skill to heal yourselves with essential oils. So I'll show you how to buy them. I'll show you how to buy them later. But today, I want you to have this, because then I'll always be successful. I leave the class, whether people join or not, I'm always successful. Okay, so that's what I like to kind of keep reminding myself. I'm always successful. Because if I'm there and I'm going to say, I've got 5 enrollments today, and if I don't have 5, I'm going to feel bad. Right? So if you kind of keep that, I'm always successful, you actually get lots of enrollments as a natural result of where you're taking them anyways. You're taking them to a place where they're empowered, because that's your real intention. So sometimes people say that they want to empower women and people, and then they set an intention of enrolling 5 people, right? And I'm like, that's not aligning. Because in the end, it could be they're enrolling tomorrow or the next week, whenever they get paid, right? So you can't attach your happiness and success to something that you can't control.
Very good. Very good point.
Yeah. That's it.
Awesome. I'm going to write that last statement. You cannot attach your happiness and success to something you cannot control. Very, very good point. All right. So I've been coaching people as they prepare to host classes and do their teaching, and they start getting scared right there at the end before they're doing their classes. And I'm not present. They're doing their own classes. And they start getting scared and they're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I saying? And to move back in your confidence, why have you embraced essential oils in your home? Why have you embraced that? What has it brought you? Moving to the emotion, the value, creating value. How can we better do that to create value for other people? So that we talk about facts tell and stories sell. And so you've got to be able to tell a few stories, but don't overwhelm them with stories, or they won't make a decision, because then their health concerns may not be quite that big if we tell big stories. So we do want to keep it simple. So talk to me a little bit about the emotion. Dana, I know you got to go soon. Would you share your thoughts there?
Actually, she called me a minute ago, so I don't have to leave quite as early. So I got a couple seconds.
So creating value. And I don't know if it's correctly said, but I'm going to say creating value by appealing to the emotions.
Right. So a lot of times when I was working through what I do to serve people is I want to help stuck and hurting people find freedom. And so I try to convey that here's some hope and here's a way out. And I'm finding the ones that want to grab on will come with, and the ones that want to stay stuck, they're okay. I just let them sit there and send them information when I can. And that doesn't determine my happiness because they didn't want to come with me. Mm-hmm. Is that kind of what you're thinking? Or am I, as far as your person that got scared?
Yeah, absolutely. So for instance, last month, at the beginning of the month, I was doing a lot of classes, reaching out to a lot of people. And was rather concerned that I didn't enroll any of them. And it's kind of interesting when people say, I want to think about it, having something to share with them without feeling like you're pushing them at all, I think is a very valuable skill to have. And so what is there to think about? What questions have I not answered? What information are you lacking still? I think that's a really critical piece to engage in, so you can take care of the questions, because the reality is that when they leave your home or leave your class, are they really going to think about it, or was that just a really nice way to say I'm not interested? And so I think we need to address that.
Yeah, so what you're saying is creating value by appealing to their emotions. It means that you're outward thinking enough to know where their pain points are. And if you haven't found it or identified it, if they haven't shared it, you know what, maybe they're not ready. And it's not that you lack skills necessarily. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. When they come and they just decided, no, I don't want to change. I was just interested in supporting my friend, just to be another bottom on the seat. Yeah. And you think, yeah, well, just leave it. Like Dana said, just leave it. But other places where you can see, like, this mum needs this oil or whatever for the family, and maybe she doesn't have the finances, that the financial problems will go away because she will resolve it on her own if you keep appealing to it. Imagine using this on your son in the morning and at night. And, how do you feel just using that oil alone? So yesterday, this lady walked in to get her hair done, and then I happened to be there. And then I did a bioscan on the lady who did the hair, owns the salon. And she's like, can I have a scan too? So while her hair was processing, she got a scan. And the first oil that she used, I said, how do you feel? She's like, I feel great. And then I helped her with words to describe her feelings, because sometimes people don't have words to describe their feelings. Do you feel open? Does your, lungs kind of open up a little bit? Do you feel more alert? Yes, that too. Sometimes you need to help them. How does that feel? How would you feel to have that all the time? Use it daily. She's like, oh, I need that. So as soon as they have that feeling, the decision is done. Yeah.
That's a really great help, Jade. How does that feel? And how would it feel? Imagine yourself in the future creating that in that way. What would it be like to not have to hurt like that every day?
Yeah, I say take it with you everywhere. Put it in your purse. Oh, you can do that? Because in their head, medicine is left at home, taken at home. I carry it in my purse all the time. You can have it all day long. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Ben, any thoughts there as well?
No additional thoughts.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So I want you to think about, Dana, as you're going forward to do Diamond Club, any fears or concerns that you have. You've done it once before, and this time your resolve is greater, your planning is greater, your commitment is greater, your goals are different. Tell me if there's any fears that are coming up for you as you anticipate this experience.
I liked how Jade said that earlier, that you can't set your intention to enroll 5 people, because it's really ironic, because Diamond Club forces you to set that intention. So like coming up with a way to word that will bring those enrollments without putting a number on it, I think will be helpful. And then I want to make sure that I'm working with the right people, that I'm not dragging or pushing anybody, and not being afraid to expand outside of the town that I have to list, that I'm going to, because as long as I have somebody on LRP outside of that, I can go wherever I want. And so I need to be flexible.
So Dana, if I could give you some insight. So if you set the intention of helping empower, 18 people, right? Then the enrollment is part of that. It's already part of that. So you can be on a journey with them.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. You really can't set goals for things that are not in your control, that other people can do. You can't set goals like, hey, this many people are going to enroll. You can set goals for things you do have control over. I am going to schedule this many classes. I am going to follow up with this many people. I am going to do all those things. It's just a numbers game after that. If you know that if you are able to get so many people to your classes, and you know, a percentage of those, so like 3 out of every 10 join, and then when you follow up, maybe 5 out of every 10. Those are the numbers you have to play with. You need to get more people to classes, go to networking events. When you go to a networking event, say, my goal is to get, you know, 3 to 4 names from this event today of people that I will connect with. Or if you post something online, have a goal with that. You know, my goal is to meet someone new through the things I'm posting online. Those are the things you can set goals on. And you know, obviously you're going to have a goal of reaching a certain rank or something, but you can't like set a goal for so many people to enroll, but you can set a goal to do all those things that you have control over. That will greatly increase the chances of those. And that's how we reach those goals. That seems, you know, sometimes seemingly impossible. We just break it down to the things that we can do with our time.
You know, that's really good advice, Ben. I think this will help you stay motivated as well, because, you know, we can easily feel like we're a failure, and you know, we feel discouraged when we have these numbers that we have to fill. But if you already know that you're successful every time you step out, and imagine when you're there that these people will be a source of bringing other people to you. I know that when I went out to Ohio a couple of months ago, one of the girls that was hosting, she freaked out. She's like, oh, I don't have enough people that are committed. And I said, just keep asking, to keep talking. But when I'm there, we'll have other classes that will come up, right? And, you know, I just imagine in my head, 1 or 2 of the contacts will have other people. And while I'm in town, we're going to make it happen. And it did. She had an appointment, and I said, ask that owner if she could host a class tomorrow morning while I'm still here. And she's like, okay. And she did. She had 8 people there. And we had 3 and 4 enrollments immediately, and a couple after that. But yeah, in my head, I thought, no, I'm going to come here. I'm going to meet people that I haven't met, that don't even know that I'm going to meet them, you know, friends that I'm going to have soon.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that too.
I love that too. So the power of the mind is really incredible. I've been listening to the book, and I finished it, but The Magic of Thinking Big. And I think I got that from you, Ben. Really great book. I was listening to it on Audible. And he tells the story of people, of the business people that were working with clients, sitting around talking negatively about their clients. And within minutes of doing that, they had a call of a cancellation for business. And so I think our intention is really huge, much, much bigger than we ever imagined. And so imagining that we'll meet the right people. I love to start my classes, and I did this in North Carolina. I love to start my classes with, after I've set the intention and set out what we're going to do, I love to put out there, as we're talking today, you are going to think of people that need to hear what you are hearing. And I'm going to invite you to write those down here on your handout. And periodically throughout the class, I'm going to ask you if you've got names coming to mind and if you've written them down already. And I did that, and then handed out samples as they wrote names and added names to their lists. And this new builder's mother had probably 12 names on her list. And so now we're working to say, hey, Mom, can you gather those friends that you had on your list, pull them together for a class, and let's do another class. And sister, this pregnant friend that you thought of, that you kept referring to throughout your questions throughout the class, let's get her to this next class. We have a class next week. And so it's interesting to put it out there and expect in return they will provide, and they do. When you put it out there, they do. And so setting that intention is something I really enjoy doing at the start of my class. And then also setting the intention of helping them move into action and implement what you're talking to them about. really the close comes from the beginning of the class, not just at the end of the class. So very good. Anything else that we want to add to this? I consider those of us on the call as bridge builders for those who come after. And so if we are bridge builders, how can we create the opportunity so that it doesn't look the least bit overwhelming, but absolute fun? I sat next to a young man on the plane ride home who was from Raleigh, and he and his family were coming out here for a family reunion. Hadn't spent a lot of time out west. In fact, they had never been to Wyoming, and this family reunion was going to be in Wyoming. And I said, well, where was that? I'm from Wyoming. And they said, Fort something. And I said, Fort Bridger. Yeah, that's it. And they said, well, you're going to be in a really pretty area. And so I painted a picture of what this was going to be like for them. And I said, you'll be able to see the blue sky and the stars at night. You won't see the fog line or the smog line around the perimeter of where you're going to be at. You'll have open space. And it was really kind of a fun way to help them to imagine this place that they had never been, that it would be a real delight for them and something that they would be really glad they experienced and want to come back to. And I think we can do that with oils as well. So, but this young man, as we talked, he was going to school in political science and said, I hope to finish my degree in a year unless I have another filmmaker call me to assist with a film production. So here he was, and I said to him, well, your political science degree will no doubt help you in the film industry. But here he was, going one course, but yet his love was another direction. And he said, it's so fun going to work. And I said, that's where when you've found your niche. It's when it's so fun going to work. And that's what I would like to create for those I am partnering with in getting these oils into every home, is create that love of what they're doing. So every day they wake up excited and happy and wanting to talk to people. And so that's what I love creating. Welcome, Dee. Glad you could join us. So what would you add to that to keep it simple, keep it fun, but also make it real? So they apply themselves and can have the personal growth that we all know is doable or able to be had as we do this business.
Well, I think you still have to go back to duplication. So like when we get like super like into our head and we just start saying stuff out of our head instead of pulling out a resource book and pointing them towards that, then they feel like, well, I don't know this stuff. I could never do that. And I have to remind myself, go back to the book, because I know it and it comes very easily to me, but a lot of people it doesn't. And so I have to remind myself, go to the book, show them where to find it. Although I have to say we did have a lot of fun teaching that muscle response testing and showing them how to trust their intuition, because most of us stuff it. And so that was really fun, that they don't always have to have a book. They can just go stand in front of their oils and pick the best one.
Very good. I can't wait to watch your video on that. That's awesome.
When you have lots of people that have been using the oils for a while at your class, you can just point to, you can ask anybody with experience here, and then they share their experience and they get very passionate about it. And, what would you use for this? I would use this. And I know it's not from the book necessarily, but then I point out, see guys, when you start playing with it, you'll know what to do. So I said, I used to look at the book every day, and that's where you guys will start, because that's the reality. The reality is you'll learn it, and you'll learn it off by heart, right? And you'll be able to help people. And that empowerment, there's a certain level of people that you want, though, because you don't want somebody that just like, I don't know anything, I just look at the book. The whole time, I don't see them as diamonds. I don't. So if you got a couple of friends that are in your class already using oils, I say, look, this is where you start. But I said, hey, Phil, what do you use for this problem? Hey, Dora, what do you use for this problem? Right? And then I use this, and we have 3 different answers. And I said, you're going to start at the book, but you'll use your experience and you'll know what to do. Sort of like cooking, everyone does it sort of slightly different. And I make that analogy, and then people who are thinking, yeah, if she can learn it, I can learn it. I said, give yourself a couple of months, stick with me for a couple of months, right? If you want to invest in your health, if you want to be able to help people this way, and then I filter them out. The revelation that's come to me for a few weeks now is, stop trying to make everyone into builders. It's draining because some of them just won't get excited about growth. Dana and I think Alicia and Debbie and I this morning were talking about being happy and excited for growth and challenges. And there's people that just like, too much, too hard, want to give up too quickly. And then you get frustrated with those people because you're like, come on, didn't you see that it was working? Right? So you really want to kind of work with people who say, hey, can I keep going? I'm really enjoying this challenge. As crazy as all of us are here, we're like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
give it to me. I want to learn how to swim. I throw myself into the deep end. That's what you did. I had Dana, a lady said to me, I'm thinking about Diamond Club. I'm not quite sure. I'm thinking about Diamond Club. Should I just do my own Diamond Club? And I said, jump in the deep end and start swimming. Go in or don't go in, because when you're doing your own Diamond Club, you're not going to do it.
That the commitment's not there.
And I said, look, it's going to be hard and challenging, but we survive, right? Just throw yourself in. And she's like, okay, I will. She's from a different team. But I'm like, don't talk that way, because if you're going to be diamonds, you're going to have sleepless nights. But it's rewarding. Nothing that is, worth achieving that's amazing, is free.
Absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
There's sacrifice. There's I call it, you just don't get anywhere without growth. And so
Yeah.
you have the fear.
But I know that this is my personality, and I know that I have to have a certain standard of people to be working with, and I don't want to compromise anymore.
Very good. Jade, in the belief pyramid, it starts off at the bottom with product belief. And as you get to the top, you start believing in your influence. And I would venture to say that you are there.
Yeah.
In order to get to that. So I love how you've defined basically who you are looking for now. And you've realized that you don't throw your pearls to the swine. And I think that's something, initially we just try to talk to and enroll everybody we meet. And then it becomes, the work of it becomes in dragging and pulling and trying to help them to see your vision when they're lacking their own vision.
Yeah.
I think it's always important to share our vision, to share our mission,
Yeah.
to put it out there to the world and see who bites, see who jumps on board with us.
Yeah. So I thank you for bringing that up, Debbie, and that's very encouraging for me, especially I needed that in this meeting. It just very recently, what stops me from fully embracing my influence is I feel like I have to love people, and I think love equals hard work and pulling them along. So I had to redefine that love as in sometimes I have to let them go. And then it's like painful because it's like, well, then isn't that not love? But it's like loving them enough to let them figure it out on their own, at their own pace, without me feeling like they have to go at my speed. And I guess in rolling up, because I'm so used to, when you think serve, you think somebody that's more needy than you are. So now it's the opposite. It's just what you have, you give to whoever. It doesn't mean they're more needy. It's just they need that aspect of you. So that helps me feel more liberated to share my influence. And then when you think of a pyramid, there's not a lot of space on top. You will be lonely, and I had to kind of let that sit, a bit, and say, look, they may not understand me. I'm trying to help them understand. I'm trying to help them really visualize, and they're just refusing a little bit, resisting. And it's okay. It's okay. Let go, move forward. So we have some slow pokes, but they're still, plugging along. And there's some people that are just running fast, and those are the people that I really like to spend 80% of my time with. And then just recently, like I was just sharing with you guys, I'm going to be very picky at who I want to be business partners. I'm not going to turn everyone into builders. They're going to be great sharers. And yesterday I thought, because I have a lady that wants to host lots of classes now, and I thought to myself, do I want her to be a builder? And I thought, no, I want her to be a fantastic sharer. So I'm going to say, I'll give you gifts, or 50% of my initial commissions, which is 50% of your fast start, which is 10%, really.
Yeah.
And I think that will be good and fair. And then she will feel excited about sharing, and it simplifies her work, but then I don't feel resentful that she's not doing more, right? That dreaming bigger, seeing her influence in the world, then if they're not there, they're not there. And she's got a job, she's got a business, and I don't know if this plan's going to work, but we'll see.
Well, I want you to share with us what happens in the coming months. Because I think this is when we get really clear on who we're looking for. I mentioned something the other day that I love your terminology that we enroll up. But in order to enroll up, we still have to start with a confidence level very high on the scale of 1 to 10. And I would mention to say at least 9 or 10 on the confidence scale in order to enroll up. But if we're lower on the confidence scale, as Deb Erickson has pointed out in her many trainings, then we're always enrolling somebody more needy than we are.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're more needy than we are, it's going to be work and effort instead of joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
And so we have to get really clear on who we're looking for. But I was mentioning the other day, when we look at the Strengths Finders 2.0, for example, those 34 strengths does not define our strengths or weaknesses. Those are strengths that we all have at varying degrees of development, but they are not weaknesses. They're strengths. They're all strengths. And so when I find that what my strengths are, the top 10 of my strengths, and then I look at those that I still need more development on, I look for builders or people to partner with that can help me develop those gifts because they already have them. And so I love that enroll up to complement me with my gifts so that together we are better. And I encourage you to do that, to look for people who have developed the strengths that you are still developing and not see them as weaknesses, but that you are still developing so that we can rise together. And there's so much power in that. And so I love what you're saying here, Jade.
Yeah, I do feel a lot more happiness too. Yeah, it's just another level of happiness that we've discovered.
And it's not disappointment.
No.
We don't have to feel disappointed in our team. In fact, as we go up the belief ladder again, when we start believing in our builders, they start believing in themselves. But until they're ready to believe in themselves, we're dragging and pulling, and there's no point in doing that. So let them come at their own pace. And I have found that when I step aside and stop the dragging and pulling, that causes me so much effort, so much work, so much fatigue in every way, that they come along. And my relationships are better. My expectations become not about them, but about me and what I can control, as been so lovingly put earlier. And then it's not so much work. It becomes more joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really truly am grateful for all that I have learned in doTERRA. And I really truly believe that I would have not learned what I've learned in doTERRA. I would have never known about the Strength Finders test working at the hospital. I would have never known about that because the hospital is all about their own policies and procedures and their own expectations. And I'm just one of the players. But as a business owner, building your own networking business, you have to not only become a servant leader, but you do have to become more clear on what we can and cannot control ourselves.
Yeah.
I
So
find that.
Debbie, perhaps next time we can talk about pulling and dragging versus encouraging and motivating. Because sometimes we feel like we're encouraging and motivating and we look back and we're like, well, actually, I was just dragging and pulling. Yeah. So kind of when to identify that difference.
Say that again so I can write it down.
Yep. So dragging and pulling versus encouraging and motivating.
Okay.
So just kind of identifying when we're doing what. Because really, I felt like I was encouraging and motivating people. And then at the end of the day, I felt drained. And so when I feel that drain, I think, oh, you know what? They're not moving along with me.
Right.
So I must be pulling. Yeah.
Yep,
If you're motivating, encouraging, those people, they're moving along. And then so your job is to keep motivating. Yeah.
Yep. Very good point. And I think at the end of every class, every event, every encounter, every one-on-one, I come away and I do a self-evaluation. How did I feel? How did I help? How did I make them feel? If I can answer that question or not. What would I like to see myself doing differently? What needed to be done differently? What do I need to change? And I love that. But here's the key for me is that if I don't take a moment to write it down, it's oftentimes one thought in and one thought out that I forget about again. And so as I was traveling, I travel with my gratitude journal. And when I write in it, it is glorious. And when I don't write in it, I'm like, oh, I forgot to write that down. Now, what was it that I felt so much gratitude for? Another habit I've really tried to implement is when I'm feeling less than up, I make my prayers, my thoughts, my writings all gratitude. And then it lifts me back up. So that's a habit that I'm really striving to incorporate in my everyday. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I'll stay on here as long as you want, but we are at the bottom of the hour, and I would love to. I thank you for your input. This has been really a great, thought-provoking matter, and I hope that it's lifted you up like it's lifted me. I love you guys. Thanks for your efforts. Thanks for partnering with me in building bridges for those yet to come.
Thanks, Debbie.
Love you.
Love you. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. I have to go now. She gave me an extra half hour, so I'm excited I got to stay, but
Thank you so much, Dana.
let's catch up.
Yes, text me how it goes. I'll be
Okay.
here. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I hope you're feeling better, Dia.
Hey, Debbie. Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, I've just had, well, I've had, I've had